Now we will get what's going on in the actual sports world, and that starts with the NBA. The NBA is apparently getting ready to vote this Thursday on a potential 22 team return. According to reports, that would include 6 teams that are currently not in the playoffs, and that would be 5 teams from the West, 1 team from the East, and that would be the Phoenix Suns, New Orleans Pelicans, San Antonio Spurs, Sacramento Kings, Trailblazers on the West, and the Wizards from the East. What do you think? Should they do this 22 team return?
I think that means we're going to have another national champion in the Washington, D.C. area, don't you?
Yeah, there you go.
If the Wizards are in, no, they're not going. They're not going anywhere.
No, not in the NBA, unfortunately. It would be an awesome story if one of these 6 teams did come back and win the title, but the top is just too strong. The Lakers, the Clippers, the Bucks, like it's probably going to be one of those 3 teams.
I think the NBA is probably, one of the only, I will say not the only, but the most, that upsets are the least likely. That, somebody might sneak through a round, but you don't get those Cinderella stories very often in the NBA where a team that's like an 8th seed or whatever seed they are, and they somehow sneak by, because one thing about series and basketball, that the better team usually wins. I mean, it happens all the time in hockey. It happens in baseball. Football is probably the second least likely, but it still happens in football. But I'm trying to remember the last time there was a team that was not a favorite that went all the way. I'm sure it's out there.
Yeah.
I just can't think of one offhand.
I don't know off the top of my head either, the last one that came through. But what's weird to me, I just wanted to mention this, is that I've read some things that seems like they kind of want to keep it an East-West competition, right? Like, so when they actually get into the final 6 team bracket, it would be an East versus West. I don't know how you really handle this situation with 5 teams from the West fighting for the 8th spot and 1 team from the East fighting for the 8th spot. Like, how do you make that work? It's really, like, for me, this, in order for this to work, you have to abandon the East-West concept, play a few games to get everybody warmed up again, and also to see where they seed and rank. The bottom 6 then go into a play-in game. The bottom 8 would maybe do like a mini tournament to get into who's got the 8th seeds. And then you have the top 14 teams ranked accordingly, and then you go from there.
Well, what if you kind of did it like the NCAA, where, what did you say, there was like 16 games left in the season? So
yeah, something along those, 18, I think, something like that.
So the Wizards, being 5.5 games down, you certainly can't argue that they don't have a shot, but it's a very slim shot. So what if they just did a series of play-in games for the 8th seed on both sides, and whether they pick 4 teams that play each other or 6 teams, however they want to do it, and they basically have a play-in, it's a mini tournament to play into the playoffs, and whoever wins on each side gets the 8th spot in their respective conferences.
Hold on, say that one more time.
So I'm saying that, you have the 8, basically you have the 7 teams that are in the top 7.
Uh-huh.
You take the 8th team,
and
whatever number you want to pick below that, I don't have that figured out, but you basically take the 8th team and make them a part of a play-in. I'll call it a play-in tournament, where they play, let's say they go with 4, I don't know.
Okay, I can see what you're saying. Okay, so you would take the 8th seed of each conference, then the next, like, let's say 3 teams in that conference, they play like a quick tournament almost to get into the 8th seed of the playoffs.
Yeah, they split those, so 4 teams, they draw straws, whatever, I don't know how they figure that out either, but they basically play one game, the 2 teams that win that play another game, and the team that wins that goes into the playoffs.
Yeah, but in order for that to happen, you have to abandon the East-West conferences because you can't do that with.
No, I'm saying that you pick the teams from the East and the teams from the West, and they play in to get their respective spots. So you don't go with the 5-1. You basically pick whatever on the West, whatever number you pick on the West, you pick from the West, and whatever number you pick from the East, you pick from the East, and those teams play it out.
I agree. So, okay, I see what you're saying. If you're going to stay with the East-West concept, you have to. I agree. You have to do it that way. Like, that's the only way that makes sense. And you could still make an argument to say, like, oh, well, that's unfair because the Phoenix Suns has a better record than the, who's the team in the East right now, right there, than the Charlotte Hornets. Like, why should the Suns get kicked out? We do that every single year with the East and West Conference. It seems like the Western Conference is always better than the East. The 9th seed in the Western Conference almost always has a better record than the 8th seed in the East. And we say, sorry, 9th seed, you're out, 8th seed in. So you could easily make an argument to say there really is no argument for that other side. But it would be fun to bring those 6 teams that had the better records, abandon the East-West concept for 1 year, call it the Quarantine Classic like the NHL, or maybe you come up with your own style name, and make it, here's the rankings, all the records, 1 through 22, split it up into 2 different brackets or whatever with 11 teams on each side, a couple play-in games. It could be a lot of fun, I think, if they did it that way.
No, I think, yeah, that would work too. I think ultimately, whatever they do, people are going to watch it because I think they're so starved for sports right now that they would take it in pretty much any format they did it.
Yeah.
That could be.
Right. But yeah, they're supposed to vote. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, yeah, I agree with you. Set up like brackets and just do a straight seeding from the top to the bottom, and you fit into where you fit in the bracket. You play and work your way down to a Final Four, and then so.
Yeah, I think that'd be fun. I do. I think that'd be fun. But yeah, we will find out. Apparently, they're supposed to vote for it on Thursday, and according to reports, that no matter what they decide to do, the NBA owners are ready to vote for it. Kind of on the same sentiment that you're saying. It's like, all right, you iron out the details, however we want to do it. All right,
let's just do it.
Yeah, let's get it done. Awesome.
So, I guess we have no idea, even with NHL, when any of this is going to happen.
This one said, I heard reports that they're going to try to aim for a July 31st start.
Okay, so that's going to
would be their goal.
So what are they going to delay next season then?
Yes. I know that Mark Cuban's talked about where they would come back just Christmas Day would be day 1 of next season.
Wow, that seems a little extreme, but okay. I mean,
yeah. I don't know. It's not that, 2.5 months into the season. You shorten up the 6th season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are they talking about then? Doing a truncated season next year, or extending that, letting that season run its course and let that one run to July?
I would imagine that it would be a truncated season.
Okay.
And maybe it goes a little bit longer. Maybe goes into July instead of June. But so maybe they don't completely scrap out the 2.5 months, but still they're going to have to eliminate some games to make that work scheduling so that they can get back on track in 2021, the start of the season.
Of course, you realize that they scrapped some games and the fans actually like it better. That might be a problem. Hey, I prefer 60 games instead of 82. Maybe you should do that.
What's up, guys? Thanks for watching to the end of the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. The like button is on this side for mobile. If you have any of your own thoughts or questions, comment down below. We may just answer it next video. Thanks. See ya.